$45 million in damage, and over 1 million fish killed. Let's find out what happened. In 2021, 3 environmental groups sued the Army Corps of Engineers. They sued them, claiming the Army wasn't doing their job in protecting the native salmon in the river below. In other words, they weren't allowing enough water to go into the river. More water in the river, and the salmon are going to be able to travel more freely out to the ocean and back. That's the theory, at least. These 3 groups won the lawsuit. The drawdown of Green Peter Dam near Sweet Home, Oregon was set to begin in late 2023. Lots of fish came up dead, landlocked salmon or kokanee in the lake. Initially, it was about 8,000. Actually, a year later, turned out to be estimated over 1 million fish had died. This was actually a relatively small problem compared to the effects of the drawdowns to the community of Sweet Home, Albany, and Lebanon. The release of all the extra water caused a ton of turbidity in the water, which resulted in mud, debris, all sorts of sand and sediment. This caused quite a bit of damage to the water treatment facilities of those 3 towns. There was a group that actually estimated the damages and relief efforts to be $45 million. Tina Kotek said the federal government should have to foot the bill for this. Maybe she has a point because it was a federal judge that allowed this to happen, Mr. Judge Hernandez. But in reality, the Army gave a report saying, hey, these are the things that are going to happen here. Sediment in the water, fish dying. Maybe they didn't realize how much of a problem it was going to be. Maybe. So we know the Army may have some fault here, and maybe the federal government has some fault because it was a federal judge that ordered the drawdowns. But who's the other side of this equation? There were actually 3 environmental groups that brought this lawsuit: Northwest Environmental Defense Center, the Native Fish Society, and Wild Earth Guardians. Who are these people, and why did they do this in the first place? So let's start with the Native Fish Society. You know, I checked their website, nothing crazy. There just appears to be fishermen that want to keep the native fish. They're a nonprofit. Let's check their 990, see what kind of financials they got. Relatively small. They're only about $700,000 in revenue. So there's not a whole lot going on here. Just to read their mission statement: guided by the best available science, the Native Fish Society advocates for the protection and recovery of wild native fish and promotes the stewardship of the habitats that sustain us all. Next group, the Northwest Environmental Defense Center. They're actually a group of lawyers. There's not a whole lot there, I'll just admit, on there. A group of lawyers. And then the last one, Wild Earth Guardians. And the first thing I see when I go to their website, no more killing of native carnivores. I think you know where this one's going. I did scroll through their website and did just an overview. Nothing too crazy on there. Here's their Form 990. Look at their mission statement. Wild Earth Guardians works to protect and restore the wildlife, wild places, wild rivers, and health of the American West. Wow. About $4.5 million in revenue, so quite a bit more than these other ones. They've got some support, a nice little pot to take on these bigger lawsuits. About $5 million net assets. Decent little pot for a little environmental group. One more thing I like to look at: how much are the executives getting paid? These guys, pretty low salaries. However, I did know the executive director name was John C. Horning. He actually wasn't listed anywhere on the website, so I was kind of curious on who this guy was, because normally executive directors, they usually are the first ones listed on the website. So I wanted to look him up. I did a little Google search and I got to his LinkedIn. Here he is, Mr. John Horning. He lists himself as an agitator. Whoa, okay. That's a little excessive. You don't necessarily think of an environmentalist as an agitator. Actually, probably smart that they kept him off the website if they want to keep bringing in the type of money they're bringing, because people probably get turned off if you call yourself an agitator, just in general. You may want to take a tip right there, maybe not. He's been with Wild Earth for over 30 years. You know, he runs the show over there, is what I'm trying to get at. Back to their Form 990. They actually gave way more explanations than I've ever seen on a 990. They listed out just about everything. So here's a summary of their accomplishments in 2022. The Guardians led transformative work in rewilding and decolonizing the American West. Interesting that they're decolonizing. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but maybe they're just kicking people off their property. I don't know. Maybe not. You can get a sense of where this is going. Let's take a look at a couple of my favorite ones. 2022, we challenged the outrageous brutality of wolf killing plans in Montana. lo and behold, they actually won this case, and they stopped wolf killing for 13 days. Wow. They talk about their legal advocacy against oil and gas and how they're working to shut down oil and gas. Typical environmental group. Okay, here's a good one. Let it flow. You can't eat money, and you can't drink the paper water. You can't drink the paper water rights. Oh my goodness. You can't drink the paper water rights are printed on. Funny things in here. Oh, this one. I'm not sure exactly what they're saying here, but here's the sentence. They are the leader of the pack in, wow, I can't even read this. Leader of the pack, entire ecosystems rest. Okay. Leader of the pack, entire ecosystems rest in the hands of a few blood-hungry people in Montana. This is in regards to the 436 wolves that were green-lighted to kill in Montana. Yeah, there is one accomplishment that takes the cake on this. I just get so excited about it. They finally, and I mean finally, they've been working on this for a long time, but they finally saved the lesser prairie chicken. I'm not kidding you. They finally did it, and I couldn't be happier. And I'll read it to you right here. 1998, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service deemed the lesser prairie chicken worthy of ESA protection, but only listed them in 2022 after decades of Guardians' relentless petitions. Thank you, Guardians. Thank you so much, Guardians. And the chickens, they love you. This stuff literally goes on and on and on. If you're really interested, I left a link in the description below if you don't believe me. So I think there's probably some blame here on these environmental groups. They call themselves agitators for a reason. They just want to stir up and cause as much problems to normal people. And it's pretty ridiculous that they're getting away with it. So that's why I did this video in the first place. It just fires me up that they're getting away with it. I'll go ahead and update you when they file their 2023. I'm guessing that their 2023 accomplishments will include the 45 million in damages and over 1 million fish killed. No big deal, but I will update you and let you know.